Hi, book cousins. Welcome back to The Bloom Effect. Today we have an amazing author who just dropped her debut novel. I'm excited for you guys to be in the space for all Black things, Black books, Black stories, and the people who bring them to life. And today we are joined by Miss Camille V. Hello, Miss Camille. How are you today?
Hello, I am doing so good.
Well, thank you so much for joining me today. Just to give you a little heads up, we're going to go through 4 segments on this interview. It is the spark where we get to learn a little bit about you and your journey into writing, your craft, and what you do to build the reader experience, your bloom, and we talk about the story that you've written, and then the ripple for your legacy and your future. Are you ready to get started?
I'm ready.
All right. All right. So, in the beginning, before we get introduced to your debut novel, I wanted to know what moment in your life made you pick up a pen and tell your version of what real storytelling is to you.
It's just like life. Like I like to read different books and everything. And then, like it's like certain books that I like to read. And I'm like, I want to be like a part of that, because like
Mhm.
I can write a letter or whatever like all day. But me personally, I don't like to talk too much. But
Gotcha.
oh, I write you down. So I'm like, I'm gonna challenge myself to try to write something. And like when I started it, like
Okay. So, around what time in your life did you begin really taking your writing so serious?
just this year, the beginning of this year,
Really?
this year,
Oh my gosh. So when you were
maybe around.
younger, you didn't want to be a writer or anything like that?
I thought about it, but then it was so much like I do so much. Like I start a career and just get the title and stuff, and then I be in it for a minute. But like I want to do something else, so I'm like all over the place doing different stuff. Like nursing, I did nursing. I'm doing radiology now. You see, like it's just so
Mhm.
different.
I got you. I got you. But that's wild because when I think about The Weight of Us, which we're gonna get into, I would not believe that this was your first book based off of like what you're telling me. Like this is your first year. Wow, that is
First year,
amazing.
yeah. And I was
Yeah.
actually in the hospital at the moment when I first started jotting down like little scenes and stuff. Like in between my patients, I was just writing like, you know what?
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Wow. Oh my gosh. Like that that makes sense why Naya is who she is. Like the
exactly.
background. Okay. Okay. So in your bio, you say storytelling isn't just art, it's survival. What does that sense of survival, how does that sense of survival show up in your writing ritual and your revision process?
Like writing, it's like I wanted to write what I wanted to write, and just show that everything is not like glitter and gold, it is like ugly at some point. So I
Hmm.
wanted to like put that, out there. And like I think that's the type of, novels that I want to write. Like everything is like not glitter and gold, like it is like ugly and at times I just want to show the realness of it.
So when you think about urban fiction and street lit, do you find that you draw inspiration from some of the books of the past authors, like some of your favorite authors um, who wrote street lit and urban fiction? Do you draw from some of their gifts and pour it into what it is that you write?
Yes. It's several authors that I like, like I like a lot of Jessica Watkins books,
Mhm.
a little bit of Jacquel books, and like watching TV shows and everything, like Tubi and all. Like I just get different, ideas from everywhere. My conversation to somebody, I might pick up on something they saying and turn it into something.
Okay. Okay. So this conversation could potentially be in a book, is what you're
Yeah,
saying.
exactly.
Okay, all right. Your characters are described as flawed and fierce and unforgettable, which Centonio is definitely
Right.
unforgettable. Where did your desires to tell that rawness, like I know you talked briefly about being in the hospital and getting your inspiration, and I know you talk about Tubi, but Centonio's character was so raw. How did you find something like that to draw? Where did you draw the inspiration from for something like that?
It was meeting someone into like the hospital. He was telling me a story, and it was like I didn't take it from him to be the type as a like soft guy, you know. So
Mm-hmm.
like talking to him and him telling me like his story, like what he's going through. I'm like, you know what? I get how him being like the hard and not so vulnerable type person, how he was coming out. I'm like, I want to turn that into something. So I'm like, I want to show that in Santonio. Like, even though he's displaying that he's strong or whatever, he do have like a soft spot.
I can appreciate Naya having to open up to someone like Santonio, despite everything that was going on around them.
Exactly. And he didn't care who saw how soft he was with her. He didn't care.
Right, right. So, speaking of Santonio and Naya, your debut novel, The Weight of Us, what has it been like to release that novel for you? How has that been making you feel since the release?
I've been like on cloud nine since the release. Like, I didn't myself expect it to do the numbers that it did. And like seeing like a lot of positive feedback from it, I just been like just overjoyed with everything. And like with the negative part that come with, some of the reviews, I just take it and, jot it down for my next release whenever, because this is all brand new to me. So like Elle, text me like, hey, you had this number. I'm like, oh my God, what does that mean?
You hit a million views, a million pages read in your first week.
Yes.
In your first week on your debut novel. That was insane.
And I was like, are you sure? Go look again.
I mean, it must be a surreal feeling because like you briefly talked about like how you just draw inspiration, how you just started this year and how you just came in and you kind of like just came in with a bang. And as someone who has read this book more than once already, I can see how that can be overwhelming. But how does this make you feel about writing more in the future?
Oh, I'm like, every moment I get, I'm trying to write something down because I'm like, I only want to get better, from at this point. Because like, with this one, this is just my first run. And so I can only get better after this, and it's all a learning curve. And so I just plan on, just keeping to it and, you know, um, getting help when I can. Like some of the authors, they'll help you, they're like, yeah, if you need help, reach out. I'm like, okay, bet.
I love that. So you're finding your community in this process as well amongst other authors. What has that been like for you?
It's been so good. Everything is, I didn't expect a lot of authors to be like, no, I ain't helping you, I'm out here the same way, like that. But it have not been like that. Everybody that I reached out to, they is like open. So I'm like,
oh, that's good.
This is a great community, to be in and a part of. And like, even when I'm talking to Elle, I might say something about an author, and then she'll have to remind me, like, you are one now. I'm like, oh yeah.
I love that. I love that. So you mentioned Elle a few times. You're signed to LKG Publications. How has your experience been being signed to a Black woman-owned publishing company and seeing the results of your debut novel? What type of support, like real support, have you been getting? What has been the outcome through your journey? How has that experience been for you?
It has been a great experience. Els and Kizzy, her sister, because she's a part of it too.
Mm-hmm.
So, whenever I text or reach out, they might not call, answer right then, or they may answer right then and they answer whatever I need. Elle, like me, she stay up late so I can text her whenever. But the experience with the rollout of the book coming out, everything has been just a great feeling and, a joy to see.
So I want to talk a little bit about The Weight of Us, and let's get into your bloom and your story you told. So Santonio and Naya were not two people most would think would fall in love because of the circumstances around them. How important was it for you to challenge the idea of not knowing what you would do until you are in that situation?
It was so important because it's like I wanted to show, that vulnerability between both of them, because love isn't pretty. It go through stuff sometimes, and I wanted to put that on paper. Like when someone reading The Weight of Us, I want them to feel every emotion that they were going through in that moment.
I love that you take the darkness that they go through and help them find their own light. And so when you're doing that, when you're building up on their journey, how do you make sure that you don't have too much filler within the experience versus making sure that it's a smooth flowing transition from moment to moment?
The way I did it, I kind of just did it like I'm actually talking, like I was actually talking to that person in that moment. So like I kind of write like how I talk. It made sense. Like, so it was kind of just like a back and forth moment that I just wanted to put it in there, so that's why I was just making sure I ain't putting too much or leaving too much out.
I want to have a conversation with Juelz because he ain't wrapped too tight.
He's definitely
He's not there all the way, baby. I don't even know if he's there halfway. But him and Tasha were like Jessica Rabbit and Roger Rabbit, just staying at it. And I was like, Lord, they're going to have a whole bunch of babies. Oh my God. What made you want to give that type of comedic relief with Juelz throughout this book? Because it could have been much heavier, but the comedic relief from Juelz was top tier. Where did he come from?
Juelz is like a man version of me. Like,
oh,
okay. Tasha is me in the workspace. Like, her attitude at work is me all day, but Juelz's personality is me. Like, I say some off the wall stuff in a minute. Like,
oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. So you just threw yourself into this character.
Yeah, my husband tell me all the time, you ain't really wrapped too tight either.
Oh my gosh. Because Juelz said some real off the wall stuff nonstop. And it was like he didn't have an off button. But it made for such comedic relief on the darkest moments that Santonio was going through. When Tasha and Juelz would get together, it would bring even the darkest moments that Naya and Santonio were facing into like this whole other realm of, why are we friends? Because this does not make any sense.
And that's like,
why? Go ahead.
Because and my sister, we like that. We'll be at a funeral service and all of a sudden she is cracking jokes about something. I'm like, you cannot be serious in a serious moment. Like, what is wrong with you?
Wait, y'all at the funeral?
Yes, she at a funeral somewhere and she'll just say some off the wall stuff too, like crazy. I'm like, girl.
Oh my gosh. Y'all are a mess. I gotta meet your sister if she is anything like Juelz. Or Tasha.
Definitely.
Oh my gosh. Y'all have got to check it out because it makes absolutely no sense how much uncouthery is going on between them two throughout the entire book. Which of these characters stays with you the most now that the book is out in the world?
Naya stays with me the most because she went through so much and she overcame it. Like, it was hard in the beginning to take away the one person she had left. It was real frightening, that part. But she stays with me because no matter what she went through, she didn't fold. Her brother died, passed away or whatever. She didn't take off from work. She still had to work.
Mhm.
I mentioned that, like, if one thing happened, it sets back other things, so life just don't stop. You got to keep going.
She really did have her moments of vulnerabilities where she could walk into Santonio and he would be her comforter. But even though he was her comforter, she was still strong in her own right.
Right.
So you did that. You did that. So let's talk about your lasting legacy. How do you want readers to describe your brand and your voice when they recommend you to other people?
When they mention me, I want them to say I don't shy away from the ugly stuff. Like most authors may mention it, but don't really go in depth with putting it in words, like how I did with that one scene. I want them to show
the girl.
Right. I want them to say she able to pull every emotions out of me. Like I cried, I laughed, I was mad. I want them to say that about me because that showed me I did my job as an author. And I made someone like be in my inbox fussing at me.
So how do you stay grounded and inspired as your platform, as your audience, and as your catalog will continue to grow?
I continue to read other authors, because I like, reading, you see.
Yes.
I like reading. I like watching shows, different, shows and just getting different ideas from everywhere.
That's good. You're a forever learner. And
right.
As long as you keep learning, you'll forever be teachable. You'll forever be coachable, which makes you very valuable in this space because sometimes people get to a place where you can't tell them nothing anymore and you stop learning. So you stop growing. That's a good place to be in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't want to get no big head at all. Like when people tell me something or I'm reading that review, I'm writing it down because, okay, thank you for telling me, I know, how to go about it for my next book.
Yes. So what is next on the horizon for you? New books, new genre, brand expansion, creative experience, book events. What you got going on next?
I think I'm gonna stay around this genre right now. And, because I like where I'm at with it right now. And events, I got 2 events next year. Boots on the Ground, and then another one. I guess I don't think I can say it yet because they haven't really rolled it out. They've been rolling some authors out, but they haven't mentioned me yet, so I ain't gonna say it. Okay. But I got 2 definitely. Boots on the Ground, definitely.
Okay,
I'm excited. All right. I wanted to get in Southern Heart because I like Southern Heart, but I didn't make that one. So
there's always 2027. We gonna keep our fingers crossed.
That's right.
Keep our fingers crossed. All right, so I'll go ahead and close this out. You've just experienced the Bloom Effect, where we honor the authors, the readers, and visionaries such as Camille V, building the future of Black literature. Carry this energy forward, share the stories, champion the voices, and be a part of the legacy. Until we meet again, keep blooming boldly in your own chapter. Thank you.
Thank you.